with venues for sports, entertainment, conventions, and of course, for tourism. At the center of this is a new arena, Spurs Arena, that could be also used for other things, and a revamped Alamo Dome and that land bridge that everybody talks about that connects both over the top of 281. There's also plans for a new convention center, a massive hotel, and obviously much more. But that is potentially down the road. On November 4th, it's about two things and two things only that you will have the chance to vote for. Proposition A and Proposition B, a downtown arena and a revamped east side featuring the Frostbank Center and Freeman Coliseum.
Yeah, and over the next hour, we're going to hear from all sides of the debate. You know, over the last few months, there have been a lot of questions about the two Bexar County propositions in the upcoming vote, specifically where the money will come from and how it will be spent.
So over the next 45 minutes or so, we are hoping to ask the questions you probably asked yourself with a simple goal here, to make sure that you have all the right information to make an informed decision on Election Day, which of course is November 4th. So over the next 50 minutes, we'll dig into the new Spurs Arena and the Rodeo grounds on the east side, which means we will hear from all sides on Proposition A and B.
Now, it's important to note the upcoming vote is for only those two initiatives and not things like the land bridge or the Alamo Dome or infrastructure. We will address some of the confusing information and misinformation that has clouded this issue and the significance of the Spurs on San Antonio's identity.
So enough from us. To do all this, we have invited a number of city and county and business leaders here. We asked several. Some could not make it, unfortunately, because of scheduling, but we are excited to have everyone who is here to have a informed, spirited conversation. People want to call it a debate. Let's not do that. We'll just talk for everyone here who is watching. So here tonight are Bobby Perez, who is the Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel from Spurs Sports and Entertainment. James Norte, he is the CEO of San Antonio for Growth on the East Side. Cody Davenport, the Executive Director and CEO of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. We did invite Father Jimmy Drennan from Cops Metro. Unfortunately, just got a phone call that he cannot make it. So we will miss him in tonight's conversation, but certainly wish him the best.
Yeah, and next we have Dr. Sukh Kaur, City Councilwoman, District 1. Kaur is hard enough, much less me butchering City Council. Trish DeBerry, President and CEO of Centro San Antonio, and Melissa Robinson, the Interim CEO, Hemisphere Park Area Redevelopment Corporation. Thank you all for being here very much.
So a lot of different opinions, really cool. Before we get started, we do want to point out my man here serves as an editorial commentator for News 4 and has commented publicly on TV and on social media several times about this deal.
That's right. Full disclosure, I'm on the record as being in support of the arena plan. I want to make that clear up front. But tonight is about equal time and input from all sides. The heart of the deal begins with building a new downtown arena, and that is our first topic.
Yeah, let's get to it. So according to the term sheet you see right here, that the City Council agreed on last month, the Spurs Arena will cost roughly $1.3 billion. Spurs would invest $500 million plus any overrun cost. They would also give an additional $1.4 billion with their partners for mixed-use development around that site. The funding also includes $489 million from revenue bonds approved by the city and the $311 million from Bexar County visitor and hotel occupancy tax.
All right, it's that $311 million and only that part of the financing that voters are being asked to approve of on November 4th. Former Mayor Ron Nierenberg helped create the vision of the project, and we spoke with him last month, asked him about the non-binding nature of the current agreement.
The purpose for the term sheet is to direct the final negotiations toward a contract. The contract will lay out the specific legal requirements that will be in accordance with the term sheet. If you don't get the term sheet, you don't really have a framework for the negotiation.
Spurs and those proponents in favor of Prop B stress that local residents, you, are not paying a dime. Instead, the funding here comes from tourists or anyone staying in a hotel or using a rental car. Prop B, which authorizes the county to increase its hotel tax from 1.75% up to 2%, and it also extends a rental car tax. So that's what you will be voting on November 4th for that $311 million from the county to help pay for the arena. So let's start with this. We have 6 folks here. Let's just kind of go around the room, go on record. Who is for, who is against Prop B? We'll hear from everyone throughout the night on different specific issues, but as general, where do you stand? We'll start with you, Bobby.
Absolutely for Prop B. It's great to have a visitor-funded platform, and we're excited to talk more about it tonight. Thank you for letting us be here.
Sure. Councilwoman?
I, as an individual, am supportive of it, not here on council's behalf.
And we might point out, it's going to be, the arena would be in your district. And you've made clear during city council meetings, it's very important to your district to have this discussion.
Absolutely.
Trish?
Definitely in favor, because it would be transformational for the urban core in downtown to bookend downtown with a baseball stadium to the west, proposed NBA arena to the east, and what could happen in between. It's a seminal moment for San Antonio.
James, I want to point out to you, and we want to make this clear, with Father Drennan, he was, I don't think it's even more than likely, it's almost definite, he's come out in favor many times against Prop B.
That's right.
I don't know if we know publicly where Cops Metro stands on Prop A, but I point that out to ask you, are you for Prop B, are you against Prop B, or are you kind of right down the middle here?
Certainly in my role at SAGE, where we exist to promote the economic development of the East Side as well as its cultural vitality, we've taken a look at this issue and we've polled the broad survey of residents and small businesses on the East Side. Because there's diversity of opinions, at this time we remain neutral. We think both propositions present a great opportunity, but there's still some concerns and questions outstanding.
Cody, we know you obviously have strong opinions on Prop A, but for Prop B, where do you stand?
San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo strongly stands behind Prop B. We think it's vital to the development downtown, and our longtime partners that we have the Spurs, we back it fully.
Yeah, we also want to mention, we invited councilmen that were on the record, Rick Galvan, Jalen McKee Rodriguez, who were against. They both declined to be here tonight, as well as the mayor, who's been on the record as saying she wanted more economic studies done, and they declined our invitation as well.
Melissa, how do you and the folks over at Hemisphere stand on this?
So Hemisphere is really excited about the opportunity to accelerate the development in the rest of the district and continue to execute on the master plan. And so Hemisphere is very excited about these opportunities for the sports and entertainment district.
Bob, I want to ask you this. Some of the questions that we seem to see online from viewers and voters, obviously, center around hidden costs. And so we can get really deep in the weeds as we get through the next 45 minutes or so. But the idea that you build this arena and all of these things, which could come down the road with Project Marvel, but specifically we're talking about the arena tonight, the idea of hidden costs. What are, if any, the hidden costs when it comes to reconfiguring downtown? We hear a lot of times about the SAWS facility, all of those things that you guys, I know, have heard.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you laid out a great framework at the beginning. So this project is about the 20 acres that includes the Institute of Texas and Cultures and how it's funded and operated. So the cost, visitors are paying for all the arena. You and I and everybody in this room as taxpayers, we have no financial responsibility. All that is on the tourists and the Spurs, and then we will pay for the overruns. And I do want to hit the hidden cost concept. The operational cost of the new arena, that will be on the Spurs as well, not on the community, not on the taxpayer. Now, the second part of that is we move forward. There's lots of work to be done, but when we pass this on November 4th, then we'll jump into that next phase.
Councilwoman Kaur, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Assuming the county bond passes and we do move forward with the arena, some of the concerns about those hidden costs are about the SAWS facility and about city infrastructure. I think it was over $200 million, streets and things around it. That will cost San Antonio taxpayers. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I wanted to say something. Earlier you mentioned that this vote is only on the county vote, and that may be true, but without the county portion of this funding, we don't have a deal. We will not be able to close that gap, and so this vote really is on the entire it's on the entire arena. It's on all of the funding that we've come up with together as a team. So yes, we're only voting on the county portion, but I want city residents to know that they're getting a voice in this too on the city component. As far as the infrastructure goes, the SAWS chilled water plant is a big question mark right now. There's a lot of work and diligence that has to be done around that, which hasn't been, and so that may or may not be in the infrastructure bond. It's not necessary for this arena deal. What is necessary is infrastructure improvements with regards to streets and sidewalks and also exit ramps for the highway. So those will be included in a future upcoming bond vote, which city members will be able to vote on in the future.
What's the advantage to having the Spurs and an arena downtown? To anyone?
I'll
Yes?
answer.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, the Spurs and the arena should have always been in downtown. I mean, I can't pay for the relocation in the past and the sins of the past, but I can tell you as a native San Antonio born and raised here, I went to games at the Hemisphere Arena, which was the loudest arena in the NBA, right? The energy, the density of people moving around downtown cannot be replicated unless it is in downtown. So as we look at what's going to happen, when I talked earlier about bookending downtown with major stadiums, as the Councilwoman knows, infill that will inspire more housing, all kinds of housing, not just affordable, but market rate, workforce, all of it, as well as more entertainment options in downtown. It will give us the opportunity to compete with peer cities like Nashville, like Las Vegas, which, by the way, are vying and chomping at the bit, especially Vegas, for the opportunity to score an NBA franchise.
Bobby,
So this is an opportunity, yes, for downtown, but also focus on the opportunity cost with them leaving here.
Bobby, I know when I've done social media posts and such, the number one question I get back is, why do the Spurs need a new arena? They have a perfectly good one on the east side. When I spoke to Peter John Holt, he gave me a pretty interesting answer about the economics of the NBA. Can you explain?
So thanks for the question, Don. So by the end of our term, we'll be in this building for more than 30 years. And the evolution of the league has become incredibly competitive. We compete with the biggest cities in the United States, Chicago, Los Angeles, and we compete for talent on the court and off the court. In order to be financially sustainable and compete at the highest level in San Antonio, a publicly funded structure is common and it's necessary. I would add that our company, the Spurs, through the Holts, want to reinvest over $2 billion in the southwest quadrant of downtown. I'm not certain there's any other companies right now that are saying that today in San Antonio, and that's part of this. And I would partner with Trish on just the future expansion for what can happen on those 20 acres. Could be amazing and magnificent for our community.
And back to what Trish was talking about Las Vegas and others, I recently spoke with former Mayor Henry Cisneros about the concerns about the competition around the country. I think 12 other cities have newer arenas that don't have NBA teams that are clamoring for NBA teams. Here's what our former mayor had to say.
Worry that as loyal as the Spurs have been to San Antonio and as loyal as San Antonians have been to the Spurs, there are other cities who badly want basketball teams. Seattle has been without a team for 20 years or so. Las Vegas, nobody thought that professional sports would go to Las Vegas because of gambling, but football is there now. They've won a hockey championship. They're about to get a baseball team. They have women, they have our women's WNBA team. So Las Vegas is sitting there wanting a basketball team to top them all off, and then you've got Austin up the road. So we can't fool around with this. I think we have to get that arena built.
And don't worry, Cody, we're going to get to you and Proposition A coming up. But
all good.
Yeah. And
Cody's
I
just having a
think
good time listening.
Proposition A actually is something that is not being talked about enough
Right.
because there's some grand plans over there. And so we wanted to hear from the former mayor and have let people weigh in from all areas.
Yeah, so we have a poll up right now as well on news4sa.com. Where do you stand right now on Props A and B? You can use that QR code right there. As of right now, according to our voters, 59% are against both of the propositions. You can continue to vote. We'll talk about this throughout the night and obviously between now and Election Day right here on 4.
All right, we also want to include you in this conversation as well. We're taking your questions on the News 4 Facebook page. Add yours there now for this very hour. Our experts will address those questions during this town hall.
Welcome back. So much of the focus tonight, really on election night, will be all about the new arena. But if the Spurs do move from the east side, the big question obviously is what will happen to that area.
And there are some bold plans for that site that is home to Freeman, Frost Bank Center. Cody Davenport is joining us here on our panel today. And Cody, we've heard so much about Prop B. Just recently I learned about all the things going on with Proposition A. Explain to people, it's $191 million to revitalize that site. explain to people what the plan is, what the vision is to do with the Frostbank Center and Freeman Coliseum grounds.
Sure. I'd want to start with, going back to those grounds in the beginning, the roots of those grounds where it all began. Joe and Harry Freeman, they donated that land down there for the use of agricultural expo purposes through legislation in 1949. We have been the main tenants there since 1949. And all we've done every single year is continue to grow and expand inside. So it's bold, yes, but it's actually a natural progression to this point. I want to recognize our partners, the Spurs. I always want to recognize them and thank them because, quite frankly, by partnering with them and being able to build the arena that we are operating in right now, the Frostbank Center, it took us to a new level as far as the stock show and rodeo. From our production side, it put us on the caliber of the NFR. It put us on the national stage inside of the Western industry, and it really, grew us. And by bumping to that point with them, it brought us all to this point. You look at us in February, for those of y'all that go, we have almost 1.5 million people come onto those grounds, in the month of February. We're busting at the seams with the competitive events I'm doing for the youth, the operational things we are doing. We are literally busting at the seams. Also, ever since I came in, the industry is massive, the Western industry. It is massive. You can go, I can give tons of examples. Fort Worth, Las Vegas, Calgary's a great one. We've been up there studying them. I think they kind of mirror a lot of what we're looking at. But I've constantly received calls in the industry. Can we come down there? Can we bring a cutting down? Can we bring a reining down? Can we bring a youth event down? Can we do this? Can we do that? Under our current arrangement, I have to deny them all the time. They want to put our brand on it. They want to come to San Antonio. This is a great place to be. We all know it. And they want to come here, but I'm having to deny them constantly. And, to simplify it, and I think Bobby will concur with this, we talk about it. The beautiful thing is we both have outgrown each other on those grounds.
That's right.
And for the Spurs, we need them to accomplish their full potential and their dreams for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo to do the same. The plan, essentially. I'm not going to claim to be a genius or anything like that. We didn't come up with this. It's out there. I referenced Fort Worth. They have embraced the industry. They have opened their arms to it. You're operating year-round. You look at what happened at the stockyards down there, how they expanded in there, what they're doing around Dickies. I mentioned Calgary. I actually am working. I was on the phone with my counterpart up there before coming in here. You look at how they operate year-round, how they embrace the urban side. I think this is the greatest opportunity for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo that we have faced in our history. And in essence, that makes it the greatest opportunity for the East Side.
So we have about a minute left. I'm just going to throw this out to the panel. And Trish, you kind of spoke, I think you used the phrase sins of our past.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who say, I heard this. I heard this 25 years ago. We're going to revitalize. The East Side was going to be amazing. It was going to be all this cool, huge entertainment district. And it didn't happen for whatever reason. So how do you sell them now on this new idea, this new vision?
Why don't you weigh in?
Well, certainly to the extent the rodeo has been one of our most treasured assets on the east side. But the question you raise is part of the reason why we have to stay neutral, because for many of our residents and businesses, they've heard this before with the Alamo Dome, with the AT&T Center. And so what I can say in this instance, we're excited about Proposition A because the rodeo has been there. They have a track record well over 60 years. And so we've seen the program they've done, how it impacts the entire community. So to the extent it can go year round, that is an asset. But I'm also hoping that there's opportunities to engage the existing small businesses there as well and to engage the residents. But Prop A, even if it passes, it's almost dependent on Prop B as well. So the question then becomes, what's going to be different with a new arena downtown? What are we going to do with all these different venues in terms of we have the Alamo Dome, a downtown arena, now we're going to have one at the rodeo. So there's questions about how is this all going to work without them cannibalizing on one another? Those questions are still standing.
Well, maybe a good time for us to follow up. The rodeo and our organization, we're in a cooperation agreement today. And so going forward, we will cooperate how we're both succeeding and partnering. Historically, from the Spurs side, we've contributed $175 million to local business in the last 25 years, $30 million on the nonprofit side. Not because we had to, because it was the right thing to do. And so that will continue.
The challenge, obviously, is we could do this for 3 hours. We're in a bit of a time. San Antonio, you guys have been incredibly vocal on your stance on a new arena. We've talked about the influence of community input. We'll hear on that next. Welcome back. You are watching Downtown Showdown, Building San Antonio's Future.
All right, whether you're for or against these propositions, the people of San Antonio have been very vocal on their stance, including some of the top players in the debate.
Is there an opposition to us seeking an independent economic study and allowing us additional time to engage with our constituents? Just yes or no, please.
I'm going to try one more time again. There's ample information that shows. This city deserves.
Order, please, order.
So that is the viral moment from a city council meeting back in August. Many business leaders, including the Spurs managing partner, Peter J. Holt, argued against the mayor in pausing a vote on the current term sheet. Ultimately, council voted against the mayor in favor of putting the issue up for vote November 4th.
All right, just before the vote, dozens more people from our community stood before city council to voice their opinions.
Why does San Antonio continue to make the same economic mistakes over and over at the expense of the residents and our city's economic well-being?
And it's not a promise, it's a commitment. It's not build it and they will come. It's build it and we will build it.
And you want another dome for us to pay? Come on, get real.
Look, this is not rocket science. You're not having to put a blindfold on and take a leap of faith. You all have the requisite information in front of you to make a smart, strategic decision.
We want more money in the general fund. Don't tell us that this arena will not impact the general fund. It will.
A project of this scale involves all corners of our industry: architects, builders, trades, suppliers, developers. All of those are well-paying jobs that help San Antonians support their families and support the businesses in our community.
All right, so let's talk about those different positions, different points of view, and this goes back to a lot of these ads they're running for both sides, what's true, what's not true. And I think with Councilwoman Kaur here, the question would be for you, will it affect the general fund?
So this money is not coming from taxpayer dollars that live here. This money is coming from a revenue bond that's going to be taken on a project finance zone funding, which is state hotel tax funding. So not even our local hotel tax, state hotel tax that can only be used around this area. So the city portion of this will not affect, actually no portion of it will affect residents that live here, unless you're going to go downtown and rent a car or stay at a hotel around the area.
So are you talking about the city PFZ, or are you talking about the county 311 that we're talking about November 4th?
I'm talking about the city. So
Okay.
the city portion of it is coming from state hotel tax dollars. The county portion of it is coming from the rental car tax and
hotels as well.
And hotels.
So let me put this in
sure.
here. People are asking about this tax, right? So you can have a maximum in the state of Texas of 17%. Right now the state is 9%, the city is 6%, and the county is 1.75%. You're increasing that 1.75 to 2%. Rental car tax stays the same at 5%. So when you're talking about raising it from 1.75 to 2%, and you're talking about a $200 hotel room downtown, you're talking about an increase of 50 cents per night is what it's going to cost the visitors who come to San Antonio.
So the 311 portion that critics would say, we all have heard this, well, why don't you use that on roads around the area? Why don't you use that on flood prevention around the area? You can take the money, the county money that we're voting on, and spend that on things that any city, any resident obviously wants to improve their city. Trish, I'll give you the floor on that.
Well, we can effectively do both. As the councilwoman talked about, these are general revenue bonds, but this money cannot be used for general infrastructure. It is very specific about what it can be used for. So in 2027, city will likely go out for our bond election that will improve drainage. I'm sure there'll be a laser focus on that. Streets, parks, all of it. But be very clear and very specific about the fact this money cannot be used for that. And I'd like to add about the general fund, the question that the woman had about there being an impact. there will be a positive impact on the general fund associated with this project. The more we're increasing development and property taxes in downtown, which is an economic engine for the rest of San Antonio, the healthier that general fund will become to be able to use those monies across districts 1 through 10. Over 30 years, there could be a total of almost $400 million in property tax, sales tax, etc., that goes into the general fund. I don't think people realize that because we want to talk about, oh, it's all about downtown and it's about no one else. No, the money we generate in the urban core and in downtown is shared across the entire city. So the healthier downtown that we have, the healthier overall city we have.
And one of the other misconceptions, though, about this is that our general fund is not backing this debt. So at no point, say, for example, the Spurs go under, they leave,
Right.
they can't pay, our general fund will not be affected. And they're actually guaranteeing all of the payments of the bond.
We know that you guys have lots of questions about this. Our experts want to answer as many as they can, so we'll have more on that from you and them when we come back. It's fascinating talk. Our experts certainly giving some great insight tonight.
All right, now we want to hear from you. We've been talking about this all show. Melissa Vega joins us with some of your questions. Melissa.
Yeah, thank you for everyone for joining in on this conversation. We have had a lot of people asking, even before the panel, a lot of questions are centering around revenue. One viewer saying one of the primary talking points has been that taxpayers will not pay for this, but with tourism dollars. So how do you keep the tourism dollars separate from locals who use the same amenities? And another point that someone else made is that if the development is funded by tourism tax dollars, what if the visitors decrease? You don't have enough visitors coming in. Where will the money come from?
I think that's a great question for us, the Spurs. The way that the transaction will be set up is the Spurs will guarantee that shortfall. And so in the event that the hotel motel tax doesn't make, it becomes our responsibility and not the responsibility of the taxpayer.
And there's been some talk about a contract, a hard, fast contract, not just a term sheet, where where you guys will be legally obligated to fulfill these promises.
100%. After the vote passes, we will move to that phase and we will set that up to back up what we're saying and have it in writing, and that way the taxpayer is protected. That way when the city council votes on it again, it is in a written document.
Melissa.
Yeah, and a lot of viewers, they also believe that the total cost for the infrastructure and added expenses, when you have something under construction, well, this comes up or that comes up. It's going to be more than was ultimately said, and that it will be passed down to the taxpayers. How do we address that?
It's another great question for us.
Great
We're guaranteeing cost overruns. And I think that's one of the messages that works really well with the voter when we talk to them. We visit with them, we knock on their doors, we make phone calls, and we say we are responsible for all the cost overruns, and this is funded by tourists.
Are you responsible for cost overruns on the arena? Yes. But are you responsible for cost overruns on infrastructure and things like that?
So on the infrastructure side, the streets and sidewalks, my neighborhoods right around that area desperately want sidewalks. They will give you a list ranked 1 through 10 of what they want. So the infrastructure down there, as we know, shall I say South Alamo, it needs the revamping. So it's a good time for us to do it all.
We have time for one more question.
Yeah, one more question for Cody or James possibly. Will Prop A really go, they're asking, to benefit the East Side, or is it just a way to ensure the success of the stock show?
I'll take that one. I think it's critical that it embraces the East Side. And ever since I've come in as CEO, I think James can attest to this, we have been finding ways to outreach into our immediate community. The stock show was out there in a rural area when we first were placed there. Urban grew up around us, and we are doing inroads, major breakthroughs in our industry to embrace the youth in the immediate area. Some really, again, breakthrough things in our industry that are happening out there. And then as far as the economic side, look, I run a rodeo. I'm not going to be something I'm not, right? So I'm not going to tell you all about the economic development around us and all that kind of stuff. What I am going to tell you is I'm smart enough in business to recognize the simple fact that in the month of February, the people that we have down there, the amount of people, every county in the state of Texas is represented at our show coming in there. The average stay is 3 days with our competitors and people that are coming in there. It is a framework that is 100% built for people to recognize the opportunities they're going to reside with that type of tourist that's coming in.
All right. Well, thank you for your insight. Viewers, thank you for your questions. We will keep that conversation going on our Facebook page. David, Dawn?
All right, Melissa, thank you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get final thoughts from all of our panel members next.
As we told you at the outset tonight, we invited all kinds of people from every side of this issue, including the mayor, city council people who voted against it, and the folks from Cops Metro. We did get a statement from Cops Metro. Father Jimmy would like to apologize for not being able to attend tonight. He would like to say, if he was there, he would say, this is not a good deal for the taxpayers. There are hidden costs to Proposition B, and it's the reason why Commissioner Moody voted not to put it on the ballot.
Yeah, he goes on to say San Antonio has more important priorities than funneling public dollars to a fourth publicly funded arena.
He said, we want an open process. We want a better deal for San Antonio. Under the current deal, we pay for 2/3 of the arena, and the Spurs get every penny of revenue from ticket sales, concessions, parking, advertising, whether that's a sports game or a concert.
And we'll sum up with what he ended his text to us with. We, the taxpayers, are paying, and the billionaire ownership of the Spurs benefit. So, again, that is from Father Jimmy from Cops Metro, and certainly that is certainly one point of view, and unfortunately we were hoping to have that for an hour here. We'd like to give everyone here about 30 seconds to sum up their feelings. Councilwoman, we'll start with you.
I am most excited about the community benefits agreement that's a part of this deal. We were able to negotiate up from $60 million to $75 million of benefit that the community is going to get to see. And they haven't provided all the input on that yet. That is still up for debate on how we're actually going to execute that. And we want to put together a task force of residents, both from the city and the county, that can really tell us how they want those dollars spent. Because the most important thing is every resident, whether they can pay for a game or not, can come to Civic Park, watch the game on a Jumbotron, enjoy the feeling of our Spurs winning another championship downtown.
Trish.
We are at a tipping point regarding where the community is, not just in downtown, but really San Antonio. You look at the catalytic projects regarding the Alamo coming online in about a year. You look at the first pitch of baseball being thrown out in 28. You look at the investment regarding UTSA in downtown, and then we're complementing it, obviously, with a proposed arena and what can happen and really make us even more competitive than we are today relative to the amazing quality of life we have here in San Antonio. But how can we remain competitive against other peer cities, but really continue to achieve kind of and absorb the growth that we will have? And I'm going to close with this. Every speech I give, where were people honking their horns, waving their flags, and driving around in San Antonio after 5 championships? They were not at the Frost Center or the former AT&T Center. They were in downtown because it is the soul of our city and where the arena should be.
Melissa.
Well, the investment that the city has made and the public has made in Hemisphere to redevelop the site of the 1968 World's Fair really speaks for itself. I think without that investment, this opportunity would look different. And our vision is to create one of the world's great public places. Hemisphere welcomed over 6 million visitors to date this year. We're topping out at 1 million just this year with the opening of Civic Park, our second park. And you can see the development that's happening down there. We host over 300 events. And so we're really excited about the opportunities to finish the district with development and opportunities for the community to come enjoy to fully complete that vision.
Cody.
So it's a statement that I made this morning. You know, you think about this, and there's been a lot of confusion behind it. And honestly, it's really not that confusing. When you just hear what was said in here tonight, it's really not that confusing when you boil it down. Tourism, bringing people in, are paying for it. All right, you got 2 iconic San Antonio brands here that have put this city on the international maps, national maps, that love this city. Both want to stay here, both want to succeed, and both want to grow just to do better than what each of us has done since we came in here.
James.
Thank you so much for having us here. What I will say is this is an exciting opportunity, but that's just that, an opportunity. Because for residents of not just the east side, but the west side, south side, all over have felt a sense of, we've heard this before, here we go again. The most important thing I can ask our electorate, because this is a countywide vote, is to really do their homework, stay informed, and always feel comfortable asking the tough questions. Councilmember Kaur brought up the fact that there was a CBA. Initially, the Spurs started at $35 million and expanded to $75 million. That was because of engagement from the community. The more the community is engaged, the more we can make sure that whatever development happens on the east side or downtown benefits everyone.
Bobby, they're saying you got to be really fast.
I'll be fast. I hope everybody votes for Proposition A and B. And great cities have great downtowns.
Yes, they do.
This is for the next 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I'm from San Antonio like everybody else, and we remember great times in downtown with victories and parades and first-round draft picks. Please vote for Proposition A and B.
Guys, thank you.
We'll be right back. At the top of the show, we asked for your input, and our poll has flipped in the last half hour. 69% of you say you're for Props A and for Prop B.
As for the vote, here's the deal. Early voting starts next Monday, goes through October 31st, and then, of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Go vote
Yes.
and watch News 4 tonight at 10, and, of course, tomorrow morning, bright and early, starting at 4:30.